After the match was over with, I fast-forwarded 5 minutes, thinking I was going to zip past at least some introductions of the next match and possibly an Applebee's commercial. And I landed on Miz and Morrison in the ring with Xavier Woods, the guy from the New Day, with not just a water gun, but a water machine gun with a tank of water on his back.
That the heels were afraid of, like it was loaded with acid.
Acid. Or some type of caustic chemical, or possibly liquid anthrax. No, please don't, please don't. I'm going to shit. No, please don't, please don't. I'm going to do it. And Woods had a wireless Britney Spears microphone on, so he could use the water gun with both hands and still talk. And instead of just either attacking him 2-on-1 or just getting out of the ring and leaving, they stood there while he shot them with the water gun, and the heels took goofy bumps. And nobody gave a shit. The crowd was deathly silent.
Because how are you supposed to like this? In what way, when you come up with this concept, do you think, and then people will really love this? This was bad. And again, adults acting like children. These are adults. The show is made for adults. Everyone says, oh, it's for kids. That's not who's watching it. That's not who's spending money on it. These are adults. That's the thing that gets me. We have adults that act like crazy adults, not adults that act like children who are finally acting out their dreams. Like, oh my God, I'm going to be in my 30s and get a water gun and I'll go attack the Miz. Like, this shit sucks and no one likes it.
Oh, and I'm surprised they didn't set the seats on fire, because by that point they'd been the show had been going on for over 3 hours.
But if they had set the seats on fire, I'm pretty sure Xavier Woods would have been able to put out all the seats.
Been able to put them out. You're right. Yeah. You got me there. But these people have been in this stadium 5-6 hours at this point, and they're watching two grown men take bumps for a fucking water cannon. So I fast-forwarded 5 minutes more, and I was in a Goldberg-Lashley package. So I fast-forward 5 minutes more, and we're still waiting on the Goldberg entrance. And he looks incredible for his age or any age. But, Brian, were the fans obviously not going apeshit for Goldberg's entrance?
I think it's the law of diminishing returns.
Yep. The nostalgia is not there anymore because they know what they're going to get, and they tried to give them a little bit more than they've gotten from Goldberg here in the past, and that was a mistake. And also, they reached a landmark. I believe either they equaled or beat the Jericho Juventud Guerrera totals here. How old is Goldberg?
I have to find out.
Well, while you find out, we know that Bobby Lashley, I believe we've established he's 45, right? And looks nothing close to that. I think if Goldberg is more than 52, they beat the combined age that Jericho and Juventud put up on the board a couple of weeks ago on Dynamite.
Goldberg is 54 years old.
Okay, well, there you go. So 99 years.
Lashley, 45.
Yeah, and the people were cheering for Bobby Lashley, the heel. And, I mean, this would have been a great Legends event match. Goldberg is amazing to be that big and that good a shape, and he did the tackle, a scoop slam, kind of a half of a power slam, clotheslines. But the people were cheering for Lashley more. And did you see where Lashley went to the top rope and Goldberg slammed him off, and neither guy knew how to do that, because I bet you neither one has ever done it before? I can't imagine Lashley's ever been slammed off the top. I don't know if that's a thing Goldberg's ever done to people, but he didn't know how to turn him, and Lashley didn't know how to take the bump, and he almost landed on his fucking head. And finally, MVP clipped Goldberg's knee with the cane. He was standing on the floor, and he swung the cane from behind Goldberg, and he was supposed to clip the back of his knee, right? And Goldberg at first didn't feel it and turned around and saw it, oh God, and then started selling it. Lashley is such a beast. he's so dominant with everybody else. When he's in there with Goldberg, it exposes Goldberg and kills Lashley's aura. And then whatever the fuck, they were trying to say that Lashley was running Goldberg's leg into the post. Lashley was picking Goldberg up at a fireman's carry and running his hip kind of into the post and making a noise, and Goldberg was selling his leg. Have you ever seen somebody post a leg like that before?
I wasn't exactly sure what was happening there, no.
Well, the only reason I knew what part of the body was a problem is because the announcers were saying, oh my God, the bad leg. But otherwise, Goldberg was selling his ass off, which nobody has ever in the history of Goldberg wanted to see Goldberg sell. But then the referee called for the bell and said Goldberg couldn't continue because of those two questionable leg runs into the ring post. I've never seen anybody injure a leg that way. So then the match was really over. I thought it was going to be a restart, but no, I wrote, is this a rib? No, he called for the bell. Goldberg cannot continue. He's been incapacitated, which destroys the myth of Goldberg. And it was shit that didn't look convincing in any way after all the other shit we've seen on this show. And then Lashley gets a chair and multiple chair shots to the bad leg, and suddenly some guy jumps on fucking Lashley, and the announcers say, oh my God, it's Goldberg's son, Gage. Gage Goldberg? He's got to go to work for AEW. And we'd have Cage and Cage and Page and Page and Gage and Gage. And Hook. Sounds like a law firm. But anyway, nobody in the crowd knew who the fucking kid was. So Lashley gets him in the hurt lock and then drops him and leaves him just laying there face down motionless. And MVP has to get on the microphone and say, Lashley didn't know that was Goldberg's son. It could have been anybody. Expecting when he said that was Goldberg's son that people would go, oh, you motherfucker. And instead they went,
Well, I think the people knew it was Goldberg's son because they had established that on a previous angle on TV with him sitting ringside.
Well, yeah, but
you're right about the idea that people really didn't care. They're in a stadium
of 50,000 people, and a guy in street clothes runs in and hops on Lashley. You can't mean to tell me that the majority of people say, oh, shit, that's Goldberg's son that we saw in that package. But they couldn't even see his fucking face. If he'd been introduced prior to the fucking match, was he in the introduction that I skipped? I don't believe so.
He was in the video leading into the match where they showed him in ringside because Lashley had made some comments to him. There was some kind of angle on Raw.
Yes, I know that. But I'm saying for the identification purpose of in the stadium to put the people's eyes on him right there, rather than if they didn't watch the package because they were at the concession stand or they're 42,000 people back and they got binoculars and still can't see anybody's face.
No, they didn't announce him to the crowd.
There was no reaction. No. Nobody knew. Nobody cared once they found out. That's the point I'm making. No pop. Because it was phony. Especially when MVP has to shoehorn that statement in. Lashley didn't know that was Goldberg's son. But I want you all to know that so you'll be mad at us. That's the way it came off.
You know what the other thing, too, is I don't know how much WWE fans want a long-term Goldberg program. I think a lot of people were hoping it may be kind of in and out. We need some star power for SummerSlam. But the way this was done, it was, no, there will be more. And I don't know how many people wanted that.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Because Goldberg's they're not going to leave it at this. The end of the feud isn't going to be Lashley and MVP laying out Goldberg and his son. No. Him and Sweet Pea got to come back and get their revenge, and I think we'll see it.
So, Ted Mack's Amateur Hour gets CM Punk and Bryan Danielson, and we get Goldberg and a heel Becky Lynch.
Plus more.
We'll talk about that in a minute, too, but they're handing the keys over here to the car.